Okay, let's start. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this a little bit unusual format of our media conference for the results 2019. Unusual like many, many things that we are living through these recent times. Unusual also that I have here on the podium, with a good distance between us, two members of the KL, of the Reduced Management Board of the Swatch Group. It's Mr. Kennel, Chief Financial Officer, and Peter Steiger, Chief Controller of the group. And they are working here in Biel. That's why they are with me here. And the other members of the Management Board, we of course ask them to stay at home or at their place of work and not make the trip and travel here to Biel. Now you are also probably, most of you that you are following this live stream, you're probably making home office. You are sitting perhaps with your family, with your children, or all alone. And I hope the TV is not on too strong to make competition with us. So, you see, we feel a little bit alone here, to be honest. In this hall, it's quite empty. As you see, you can make a zoom out. But nevertheless, we thought we don't want to be in this empty situation. So we invited, nevertheless, somebody here as a guest. Can we have and see these guests? These are 90 teddy bears. And we are compliant with the rules of the government in Switzerland. These teddy bears are part of the charity operation of Omega with Orbis. Orbis is a flying eye hospital. And after this media conference, all of these 90 teddy bears will go in the arms of children that just had surgery for their eyes. So we feel a little bit more comfortable. We have an emotional vis-a-vis that we can look at. But let's start now. Let me have some words about the situation that we are all going through. Worldwide. But let's always face that this is a temporary situation, what we are going through. We have seen that our colleagues and friends in mainland China were the first ones that went through this. And today, they are starting again in a normal way. And this will also happen with all the other countries. So it's a temporary situation. And of course, this temporary situation will force us to change habits. And that's a good thing also. It's not only a bad thing, because it permits us to slow down. It permits us to see things in a different way. It permits us to make a media conference with 90 teddy bears. So all this is also an opportunity. And slowing down is also permitting us to think a little bit before that we do something. Of course, we have to react quickly because the situation changes every day. And we need to face the changes, and we do it. But nevertheless, this gives us the moment to step back and to think, and before reacting, before communicating, before doing things, thinking twice. And even more in times of social media and also normal media, not just social media. We all have a responsibility. We, but also you from the media that are watching this live stream, and you can later on ask questions with emails. Please don't jump and try to break the world record in speed to bring news on the ticker, on the internet, on the newspapers. Sit back, verify if it is true, talk with somebody else before that you send something online. It happened at the beginning of all this story with Ticino that I saw in the Handelszeitung, a big title saying, the frontiers to Italy are closed, which immediately created a reaction here. We said, oh my God, what's happening? What are we doing with our frontaliers? The people are preoccupied. And then it was a fake news that had been corrected later on. But please, I ask all of you, before you run to be the first to report something catastrophic, new, think 3 times before doing it. So, in this sense, I ask Mr. Kennel now to present the 2019 numbers, and it's your turn, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hayek. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go through some key figures and elements of the annual report 2019. But first of all, the important figures showing the financial health of the company. The group generated a strong operating cash flow in 2019, up by 29.8% to 1,224 million. The net financial position, which means liquidity minus debt, by the end of the year, 1,348 million, up by 333 million, which means a very strong financial situation. The equity of the group is up to 11.5 billion, hence an equity ratio of 83.9%. These main figures are showing a very sound and strong financial situation of the group. The consolidated balance sheet, which is very strong equity ratio, shows also that we only have 16% in current and non-current liabilities. To mention also that the consolidated balance sheet does not include valuation of goodwill. We took this value out of the assets and deducted it directly from equity when we switched to Swiss GAAP accounting principles in 2012. Furthermore, brands and own developed patents are not valued either. Let's come on the asset side of the balance sheet. Here you see the cash and marketable securities, the cash situation. It's 1,469 million, 10.7% of the balance sheet. Then we have the 2 main positions, which is inventories in green, with 6,802 million, or 50.1% of the balance sheet, which is most important in order to guarantee the supply chain throughout the production and distribution. And the non-current assets with 4,137 million, or 30.2% of the balance sheet. In this inventory, in semi-finished and finished goods, we have a total of 2.1 billion, or 31.4% of the total inventory, invested in long-term values, such as gold for over 1.1 billion, and diamonds for over 1 billion. Now, the total inventories compared to last year decreased by 65 million. If we go through by categories, you see that in raw materials we have a decrease of 147 million to 519 million now in stock. Then work in progress, minus 88 million, 446 millions in stock. The semi-finished goods we have up by 14 million, means 1,910 million in stock. Finished products, most important, plus 149 million, meaning 3,625 million finished goods in stock, and finally the important spare parts for our after-sales services. If you have a look on this inventory throughout the value chain from raw material to market front, 32% or about 2.2 billion are in the basic raw material stock and the production pipeline in order to guarantee the production continuity. That means no risk of lack of stock or disruption of the procurement or production chain. And 68%, or almost 4.7 billion, are at brand levels and at market front, ready to sell and available to customers. Hence, this is the most important driver for generating sales. Now, let's come to the sales realized in 2019. We realized 8,243 million at constant exchange rate. This means a decrease by 1.8%. Growth in local currencies was reached in all markets, except Hong Kong, troubled by the ongoing protests during the second half of 2019. Without Hong Kong, the second half of the year was developing positively by 5% at constant exchange rate. The weakening currencies versus the Swiss franc resulted in a negative currency impact of 76 million or 0.9%. Hence, at current rate, we reached net sales a decrease by 2.7%. Deducting all operating expenses, it leads to the operating result. 1,023 million, a decrease by 11.4% versus the previous year, meaning that we reached an operating margin by 12.4% compared to the 13.6% in the previous year. Further deducting financial expenses and taxes, the group generated a net income of 748 million, a decrease of 13.7%. The net margin achieved was therefore 9.1% compared to the 10.2% of last year. Taking now in account the net income to group shareholders, divided by the average number of shares outstanding, we get the earnings per share, which is in Swiss franc per share, registered shares 2.84, and for the bearer share 14.18, a decrease by 12.1%. There is about no dilution effect since only a very few options are outstanding. Now let's have a split of the net sales generated by region. The Swiss market generated 753 million, representing 9.1% of the total sales. And the other European countries generated a turnover of over 1.5 billion, 19%. This means that Europe, including Switzerland, generated 2.3 billion or 28.1% of the worldwide sales. The main region remained Greater China, including Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan, with almost 3 billion of turnover, meaning that 35.9% of the total sales were generated in this region. The other Asian countries and the Middle East generated 2.1 billion, 25.6%. Americas 707 million or 8.6%, and the remaining 1.8% was generated by Oceania and Africa. Now let's come to the specific segment of watches and jewelry, including production. This segment generated 7,966 million of turnover, hence 3% on the last year at current exchange rate. The performance of the second half of the year was very positive, except, as said, the Hong Kong market, where the drop in sales was about 200 million. Despite the Hong Kong issues, Harry Winston and Blancpain did achieve best ever sales. And the owned retail grew by 2% despite the Hong Kong issue and despite a reduced worldwide retail network by 60 shops. The operating result of this segment is 1,145 million, or 9% below last year. The operating margin is 14.4% compared to 15.3%. The operating result in watches and jewelry, however, without production, increased by more than 20% in the second half of the year. The production was the part that was loading the operating result. The decrease in volume in mechanical movements for third brands due to the delayed decision of the Competition Commission was the main factor. In the second segment, the electronic systems, net sales grew by 5.9% to 289 million. Despite higher production costs in Switzerland, we had a higher demand for our ICs. This because of the very high-tech solutions that the segment is providing to the fast-growing IoT industry, such as high-performance and ultra-low-powered real-time clocks, as well as ultra-small temperature-compensated quartz oscillators. Renata, the battery producer, especially cell coin batteries, reached its best ever sales in 2019. These Swiss electronic high-tech products generated an operating margin of 2.4%, which is a very good performance knowing that they have to compete in US dollar environment, but having a higher cost base because of Swiss-based production. Let's now have a look on the cash flow statement, operating, investing, and financing. Starting from net income 748 million, we adjust by the accruals, non-cash items, net gain on sales of fixed assets and change in working capital. We compute the cash generated from operation before tax, which is 1,466 million. Deducting the tax paid of 246 million, we generated a cash flow from operating activities of 1,224 million, an increase by 29.8%, as we said at the beginning. What did we do with this cash? Firstly, and cash-wise, investments. We invested 459 million in equipment, machinery, buildings, hence 8.9% less than in the previous year. Second, release in financial investment and cash in from divestments of assets, 115 million, which totals net cash flow from investing activities 344 million, or 47.2% less cash used for investments than the previous year. Deducting the cash used for investing activities from the cash flow from operating activities, we compute the free cash flow, 880 million, which is 3 times higher than last year. And the last part, the financing activities, here the cash was used in order to pay the last year dividend of 417 million to the main shareholders, as well 17 million to minority shareholders, then purchased treasury shares, 33 million, reimbursement of debt and purchase of minority, 152 million, hence 615 million cash outflow, 6.7% less cash used than last year. Finally, after the negative impact of exchange rates in cash of 19 million, we end up with an increase of the cash position by 246 million. Let's come to cash and cash equivalents. Reaches 1,239 million, and including the 230 million that we have in marketable securities, we have a position of 1,469 million of cash. Deducting then the remaining financial current and non-current debt of 121 million, we end up with a very strong net financial position of 1,348 million, as seen as at the beginning of the presentation. Let's come to the investment by nature on accrual basis in the balance sheet. And you see here we have invested 223 million less than last year, 476 million in total. And if we split that up, technical equipment and machinery, we invested 214 million, 30 million less than last year. Then other equipment and fixture, which is shop equipment also, 104 million plus 6 million. Then construction in progress, 26 million, lower by 19 million since the bigger constructions have been finished. And you see it in land and buildings and properties, where it increases by 20 million to 65 million. Intangible assets like software and others remain stable, investment of 48 million. And the last one, other assets, this is the long-term financial investment, which we invested only 19 million last year, compared to the previous year, where we have invested a little bit more. Let's now see some examples of investments. Here, investment in the machines at MECO for producing small components in the habillage sector. Then at EM Marin, the electronic systems, the new installation for PVD, which is physical vaporization deposits, in order to produce the high-tech ICs that you see on the right. Then at Renata, important investment in the battery production line on the left, and on the right, the very new battery recycling line, where Renata takes back the cell batteries, the used cell batteries, which then are fully recycled internally at Renata, and afterwards the basic materials recuperated and reused in order to produce new cell batteries. This installation of internal recycling is unique in Europe. Here another example of sustainable investment, photovoltaic installation on the roofs of Longines. Our total power production of all installations together on the roofs of Omega, Longines, Boncourt, and so on, count more than 8,000 square meters of photovoltaic panels, producing energy over 1,100 megawatt hours each year. Let's come shortly to the holding company, where we have a net income of 911 million coming from cashed in dividends from our subsidiaries, with also a very strong and healthy equity position of the mother company of 7.8 billion and an equity ratio of 96.3%. This strong situation of the mother company leads the board of directors to propose to the General Assembly the same dividend as last year, hence 1 franc 60 cents per registered share and 8 francs per bearer share, a payout ratio of 57.3%. All other details are available in the annual report 2019. Thank you very much for your attention and keep safe, stay in good health. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kennel. So, that was 2019. And there might be some questions later on that come by email. Let's come to 2020. As I said before, the world has changed in a quick manner. January was still good for most of us. And of course, the first dark clouds came last week of January. And let's remember, this is not even 2 months ago. So the things are happening very quickly. And even more, the strategy is important of our founder, Nicholas Hayek, who said, no debt, strong cash, have a lot of stock, and be independent from the banks, because it's exactly for these kind of situations we have now. When we need for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, a situation where your factories are practically not working, where your shops are closed, you can give a perspective and you can be a safe haven for your employees. And you can start right away without complication once the crisis is over, and you can attack the markets. By the way, China starts to work again very well. We get, and we follow, of course, the numbers of the Chinese market, which is an important one for the Swatch Group and many others. So they are on the trend up. While we here in Europe, of course, we are on a standstill. And the United States is also going more and more into a standstill. But as I said, it's a temporary situation, and we have to adapt, and we have not to abandon a successful strategy. That's important. And that's also important for Switzerland, that Switzerland keeps sticking to the strategy they have and to the tradition that they have to manage this crisis. 2020 means also new products at Swatch Group. And we want to show you 2 presentations before we come to the question and answers that are really nice products. It's for the brand Tissot and it's for Swatch. And I ask now Sylvain Dolla, who was the project leader for the Tissot T-Touch Connect Solar, and then Nicolas Claire is the boss of product at Tissot. They will present this product and the operating system, and later on we will have Swatch. Alain Villa, who is the boss of the Swiss market, who at the moment accepted to come from his home office here to this conference hall office to present a really new way of producing Swatch watches. Sylvain.
Good morning, everybody. Very happy to present you today a very special watch, a very special Tissot T-Touch Connected and Solar. So this watch is special because it's hybrid, it has beautiful hands and a digital display, but it is special because it has 6 months autonomy when connected and more than 10 years, almost infinite autonomy when unconnected. The autonomy is due to a combination of an ultra-low power system that we have developed in-house in Switzerland, combined with new solar technology developed in Neuchâtel. So in total independence, which is the strategy in this project. We had, of course, a long-term approach. People who buy Tissot watch, they want product that will last for years, that will still be looking good in 10 years. We refuse the obsolescence of consumer electronic products. That's not what we want. We want to develop a fine watch, and that was the mandate to the team for this project. We focus, of course, on horological function. We are there to produce fine watch, but we added, thanks to the connectivity, very interesting, useful application. What is interesting during the development of this project is that we could develop in Switzerland the SWALP, which stands for Swatch, or Swiss Autonomous Low Power Operating System. And that's key. We didn't want to take off the shelves an operating system that would drain the battery in few hours. We wanted autonomy, so we developed ourselves, with the help of CSEM, a new low power operating system. This combined with EM Marin and CSEM work on these new solar cells, which are so aesthetic because, of course, we developed them thinking watch. So we developed a new solar cell in Switzerland, in Neuchâtel, that was so aesthetic and efficient that we could use it straight as the display of the watch. So all these investments have led us to apply for 35 patents. So innovation is really at the heart of this development. And now I'm very happy to share with you for the first time the director's cut, the video that we developed for this beautiful product and that you will see in the coming months on different social media platforms. Then
Welcome. Welcome to your world. A world without boundaries, just like your imagination. Get connected to your inner self, your community, and those who matter to you. Here, everything is at your fingertips. Everything is visible. Everything is here and now. A place where you have everything you need to be yourself. A place where things will happen as they should. A place where you can choose the part you want to play. We're going to have a great time together. Welcome home.
And now Nicolas Claire, the Vice President of Tissot, will present you the function of the watch. Thank you.
Bonjour à tous, c'est un plaisir de vous présenter aujourd'hui la nouvelle venue dans la famille T-Touch, la T-Touch Connect. Avant d'entrer dans les détails, permettez-moi de faire un petit historique de cette famille T-Touch. En 1999, Tissot sort la première montre à écran tactile au monde, la T-Touch. Et ceci bien avant les smartphones et tous les autres appareils électroniques. En 2005, avec l'aide de Microsoft, Tissot sort la première montre connectée au monde. Ceci non pas avec du Bluetooth, mais avec la radiofréquence RDS. Suivi, en 2014, par la T-Touch Expert solaire. Et si on prend les trois meilleures parties de ces montres, le tactile, la connexion et l'énergie solaire, nous avons aujourd'hui la T-Touch Connect solaire. Avant tout, la T-Touch est un vrai produit horloger et non un consommateur ou un gadget électronique que l'on va mettre dans une benne dans 2 ou 3 ans. De ce fait, nous avons choisi des matériaux nobles pour sa fabrication, comme une lunette en céramique, une boîte en titane et une glace en saphir. Comme tout produit horloger qui se respecte, l'étanchéité a été soignée avec ici une résistance jusqu'à 10 bars. Si on compare aux produits électroniques connectés, 10 bars est une très bonne, 100 mètres est une bonne résistance par rapport à nos concurrents. De plus, une résistance à 10 bars donne une certaine preuve de robustesse du produit. Nous parlons d'autonomie avec le Swiss Alps, notre système d'exploitation. Nous sommes autonomes et nous évitons l'obsolescence de notre produit. Et aussi, ceci nous permet de gérer au mieux l'énergie consommée par la montre, ceci afin d'éviter d'avoir des surconsommations. L'autonomie aussi par la déconnexion du produit par un simple bouton. Et ceci nous permet d'avoir une T-Touch autonome et indépendante. Laissez-moi maintenant vous présenter quelques fonctions. Pour les fans de la T-Touch, vous reconnaîtrez les fonctions usuelles, comme la météo avec la pression et la température. Avec l'activité, l'altimètre, une nouvelle venue, c'est le compteur de pas, qui permettra aussi d'avoir les calories brûlées et la distance parcourue. La boussole avec la navigation. Bien sûr, Tissot étant chronométreur officiel de beaucoup d'événements, nous avons effectivement un chronographe, un timer et une alarme. Et comme toute montre qui se respecte, on donne l'heure avec 2 fuseaux horaires et un calendrier perpétuel. Je rappelle que jusque-là, la T-Touch reste un produit autonome et reste une T-Touch expert Solar. Alors on parle de T-Touch connectée, c'est bien, mais maintenant on va la connecter. Alors on va aller à l'essentiel. Nous allons avoir les notifications qui vont pouvoir s'afficher sur la montre, les appels téléphoniques. Nous avons bien sûr créé une application qui permettra à l'utilisateur de gérer ses alarmes, ses fuseaux horaires et éventuellement et la version du podomètre, voire l'historique de ses activités. Cette application sera compatible avec iOS et Android et en première mondiale avec le système Harmony, qui est le système d'exploitation de Huawei. Et nous serons la première marque horlogère à être compatible Harmony. L'évolution de la montre pour le consommateur, pour la fin de l'année et début de l'année prochaine, le consommateur pourra recevoir des nouvelles fonctions tout au long de la vie du produit. Par exemple, en fin d'année, les prévisions du temps seront sur sa montre et les fonctions NBA, où nous allons ajouter le suivi des matchs, l'agenda des matchs de NBA, où Tissot est chronométreur officiel. Une fonction de retrouver son téléphone sera aussi disponible. Et pour début 2021, des fonctions de navigation liées au GPS qui permettront à chaque personne de retrouver son domicile. Il est aussi prévu de pouvoir planifier un déplacement sur une carte, de laisser de côté son téléphone portable, et grâce à la T-Touch Connect, juste en suivant les aiguilles et l'écran, vous pourrez retrouver votre chemin. Comme l'a dit Sylvain tout à l'heure, au niveau de l'autonomie, ce qui est exceptionnel pour une montre connectée, 6 mois d'autonomie, et non connectée, plus de 10 ans, comme une T-Touch Expert solaire d'aujourd'hui. Parlons un peu du lancement, avec 6 références qui ont été créées, toutes, comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, avec une boîte titane, un bracelet en titane, des bracelets en caoutchouc pour les gens qui aiment les produits plutôt sportifs, et des finitions de couleur PVD rose ou PVD noir. Le lancement est prévu pour cet été, ceci dépendra un peu de la situation en Europe, et le prix reste compétitif, on est exactement dans la même gamme de prix que notre T-Touch Expert Solar aujourd'hui. En conclusion, nous avons donc ici une montre indépendante, autonome et connectée qui vient du monde horloger. Powered by nature, crafted for you. Merci de votre attention.
Merci Nicolas. Maintenant, Alain avec Swatch.
Congratulations to Tissot for this fantastic product. And thank you for the opportunity this year as well to present a brand new product that Swatch has launched. It's called Swatch by You. It's the personalization of the brand Swatch. It is exclusive, revolutionary, and as we launch it already, we already have a lot of success in the different countries where the product was launched. So to explain the product, it's really simple. So to have access to it, you need a digital screen. So you need to connect to our swatch.com website with a URL in the country that you are staying. We have different design that we also call canvas that you have to select, that you have to choose. It's very playful, right? Important at the moment. So you can take your watch and scroll around the design. You can zoom, you can turn the design. You can add your personal touch. So for example, there is a possibility to put a name in the back on the watch, your personal name or the one that you want to gift the watch with. And then you have already your created watch, which is brand new. And to illustrate this, we have a small animation to show you.
We make it look easy, we make it look good. When everybody sees it, they stop and take a look. So celebrate yourself,
So some features about the product. First of all, the technology. We are very proud of the Swatch Group. It's a 100% Swatch Group project with the full commitment of ETA. Without our factory ETA, the product would not have been possible to be created. And we're also very proud because Swatch is today the only brand, the only watch brand worldwide able to make this dream possible with the personalization, the full personalization of the watch. As a customer, you have the possibility, of course, to buy it on e-commerce. But we also are at the moment having different stores with the possibility of having a screen, of course, but also, and this is very exclusive, you have here on the screen the example of Interlaken, where we have the printer there on place, allowing the customer to come to personalize his watch and to get the watch done after only 10 to 15 minutes. So this is something which is absolutely exclusive. And also to show you this, we have done special promotion at the airport in Zurich. I need to mention here that the presentation, the animation you will see was before the social distance of the 2 meters. It was a few months ago. So here the next video.
We make it look easy, we make it look good. When everybody sees it, they stop and take a look. So celebrate yourself, celebrate. So celebrate yourself, it's gonna feel so great. You can't resist, don't even try. Magnificent, ain't gonna lie. It's just so effortless, so effortless. It's just so effortless.
The positive point of this product is that we have a never-ending list of potential collaboration. So of course we will not mention all of them, but we have decided to select a few. And the first one here is the one that we did with the Le Louvre. Last year we had the 30 years anniversary of the Pyramid of Le Louvre, and we had the exclusive chance to take 3 masterpieces of the Louvre and to be able to have them wearing on your wrist. So it was an honor for us, but of course it was also an honor for them. And we're gonna discover this in the next presentation. Another one that Swatch is very proud on is the collaboration that we did with the ECAL, the University of Art and Design in Lausanne. We made a contest, and the 5 students winning this contest were able to design their own canvas. And here it's again a very proof of the freedom that we are giving to the artist. The name of the first canvas is the Fête du Slip. For our French-speaking colleagues, it's clear. For the other ones, you can Google it. And we had a lot of success end of last year with this. And the other one that we have here is the moon landing. And this is also to show that here in this case, we were able to prepare it in advance. But if we have something happening in the newspaper coming this morning, we can react and we can have a design live during the same day or the day after. So we can be very reactive on that. And it's unique. It's not unique only in the sense that the Swatch brand is the only one able to do it, but it's also unique in the sense that you are creating your watch. So you decide at the end what you will be wearing on your wrist, and this makes it absolutely unique. So to sum up, we have a solution which is available on e-commerce, in the stores, and of course, when Swatch in a worldwide basis is doing events. We have so far already created over 150 different design or canvas. We have a presence in 20 countries, and we are very proud also to inform everybody that end of this year, we will be able to have this solution on a worldwide basis. Our Vice President Marketing, which is also in home office today, was so nice And he created a video to show you all the different possibilities that we have to create the watch, and including the T3, so the placement of the strap, in order to have the watch that I'm wearing here. So we will see that in the last animation. So thank you for your attention. I wish you already a lot of pleasure with this new product. And of course, wherever you are, stay safe and stay home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alain. So now we come to the question and answers. I repeat again the address for journalists who might not know the address, the email address. It's BMK, it's like Bravo Mike Kilo, 2020 at swatchgroup.com, just as a reminder. So I will start. I read the question. The first is, as always, she is very quick, is Corinne Gretler from Bloomberg. So she is asking, hello, thanks for taking my question. With uncertainty over whether the Tokyo 2020 Olympics will take place or not, what does that mean for Omega's limited edition pieces? Have all of them already been produced? And if not, will production be halted? If yes, will you take them back? Thank you. Now, Corinne, first, it's too early to speculate or to forecast what will happen with the Tokyo Olympics. We are, of course, hoping that this will happen or that there will be another solution. But independent of this, Omega is in a lucky situation. Some consumers that love Omega watches, and there are many out there in the world, they are perhaps not so happy about it. There is always a big buzz about these kind of products from Omega. Like with the Speedmasters, with all these products, they are sold out practically before that they are coming and hitting the market. So there is no watch in the production waiting to be delivered. They are out there waiting that the customer is collecting it. So there is no issue of having some surplus and we don't know what to do. It's the contrary. And I can tell you one thing, something that is seducing collectors in the world even more is a piece, a historical piece of an Omega watch. And I say it again, I don't hope that this is happening, but if Olympics would not take place, these pieces would even be collected and searched 10 times more than the original ones. So there's no discussion that even anybody in the world would ask us to take them back. But again, I'm looking forward that this temporary difficult situation in some parts of the world gets resolved. And especially if we all are disciplined and we try to stick to what we should do to isolate ourselves a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit, yes. So the next question I give to Mr. Steiger.
Thank you. The question comes from Silke Koltrowitz from Reuters. She's asking, are shorter working hours, shutting down factories and job cuts part of the concrete measures you are taking to tackle the current crisis? Now, I believe Mr. Hayek has mentioned it's an extraordinary situation, and whereas, of course, we are sticking to our long-term strategy, which is based on our robust business model and a very sound financial basis, as you have seen, we are, of course, reacting on this crisis. Being it because the government's agencies are asking us to react, but of course also because we adapt ourselves to the situation. We are reviewing the situation on a global level every day, and as much the situation evolves, we are adapting our measures. If I take the situation of this morning, we can say what concerns the Asian countries, they are more or less back to usual. The fact that the stores are open, the offices are open, our salespeople are in the field. That's the situation now in Asia. In Europe, most of the retail stores are closed, had to be closed. The people are staying at home, whereas we try to keep our distribution centers and offices operational with a reduced staff to follow the recommendations to limit the densities also in our area. And in the US, it's pretty much now as in Europe, this morning all of the stores have been closed and the offices are running on a reduced staff. Now I can presume that your question is in particular also in the production, for the production sites here in Switzerland. Yes, we are reducing working hours, not because there would be a lack of products, of components. As you know, we are fully integrated internally. We are not dependent on the global supply chain and disruptions from China and other parts of the world. The reason is mainly that many of our people, which are coming also from abroad, from Italy or from France, crossing the border, they are not allowed to come over the border, or we ask them not to come. The concrete situation is that as of this morning, 42% of our production staff here in Switzerland is on what we call short-term work. So they are working reduced working hours. I would presume that until end of this week, we will be at about 60 or 70% of the factories which are going on these reduced hours. What is not part of the strategy, never was in such a crisis, is a job cut. Based on the experience now of many years, that when we are able to keep our experienced and knowledge staff, we are faster and to come out of this crisis. And as we have seen it in 2009, already in 2003, we are mostly gaining because we have the resources and we can bring up the production afterwards to a very good extent. I believe that's it. And
yes, that's Thomas Müller. Perhaps I respond on this. Thomas Müller from Bloomberg, I think the first part, he asked, can you please tell me if all of Swatch production is still running at full capacity? You just got the response from Peter Steiger. And have you suspended any production? Yes, in some areas, the production is stopping for 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. And as always, it's really changing every day. We have to look at the situation. But there is no factory that is closed, but there are some parts of it that are closed. And we always coordinate, of course, with all our employees. We want that they feel safe and comfortable, and that's how we move. But many of them feel also safe and comfortable when they have the real feeling and assurance that the company is doing well and plan to continue to operate and to work and to deliver products. So these two realities are true. And he asked also, are employees who live in France and Germany able to get to work? You mean probably the frontaliers who go into the factories in Switzerland. Because we have employees, Swatch Group Germany or Swatch Group France, that are in Paris and in Germany. And of course, they work according to the rules of their countries. And in France, for example, we had to close the stores. The people have to do home office. They can nearly not go out, and we comply totally with these kind of rules that are in the countries. And of course, we facilitate home office for these people. When it comes to frontaliers that go into the factories coming from France or coming from Germany, of course, here also, we look at the situation of transportation and how comfortable they feel, and if we can do shifts, or if they stay at home and we work with much less people on the ground. It's really case by case, because a reality of a battery manufacturer like Renata that's situated in Basel-Land is quite different from an operation in Vallée de Joux, for example. So that's why we really have to tackle every reality differently. And we coordinate, as Mr. Steiger said, every day. We have every day a phone call about the situation and the next measures to take. And what was good today cannot be good tomorrow. So that's the way we operate. And then I have another question from Iris Wimmer-Olbert, Armbanduhren. Ich antworte auf Deutsch. Haben Sie bereits Pläne, wann und in welchem Rahmen Sie der Öffentlichkeit die Neuheiten 2020 Ihrer Marken vorstellen? Liebe Frau Wimmer-Olbert, also wir sind schon daran, die Marken machen das. Wie Sie gesehen haben, hat Tissot jetzt das gerade benutzt hier an diesem Livestream, um ihr Produkt gewissen Konsumenten vorzustellen oder hoffentlich Konsumenten vorzustellen. Und wir machen das ganz individuell. Wir haben ja aufgehört, an einer Messe teilzunehmen wie Basel oder sonst einer anderen Messe. Und die Marken von Omega bis zu ganz oben Brügge haben entschieden, dass sie das ein- oder zweimal in Zürich machen. Das haben sie gemacht, einmal, beim zweiten Mal haben wir das annulliert wegen der Geschichte, dass die Händler nicht gerne reisten, was dem Virus zuzurechnen ist. Und wir haben schon lange die Pläne gehabt, dass die Marken selber in die Länder gehen und ihre Produkte und neue Produkte vorstellen. Das hat übrigens Tissot bis Longines schon gemacht, die haben schon angefangen damit und die anderen Marken machen das individuell und werden vor Ort ihre Produkte präsentieren. Jeder auf seine Art, wie das gerade in diesem Segment oder für die Marke notwendig ist. Aber natürlich in Europa ist im Moment keine Präsentation von Produkten angedacht. Das wird die nächsten 1 bis 2 Monate wahrscheinlich so bleiben. Jetzt haben wir weitere Fragen hier. Ich muss sie zuerst lesen, damit ich sehe, wer sie beantwortet. Wir haben Pascal Meisser von Finanz und Wirtschaft, das gebe ich Ihnen, das geht in die ähnliche Richtung wegen den Fabriken. Wollen Sie ihm antworten?
Okay, the question is Pascal Meissner. Thank you for taking my question. Some Swiss watchmakers had to close temporarily their production due to the current situation around COVID-19 in Switzerland. The Swatch Group also took the same measure and closed the production. If so, which brands are impacted by this and for how long will the closure be maintained? Okay, I believe most has been already responded to. Yes, we are also closing some workforce. We are not closing the company, but we are closing the work floor. Impacted are mostly all of the brands and the production company. And how long this closure will be maintained, I'm sorry, I cannot answer this question. That will depend on the evolution of the situation.
Yes, and Pascal, you know, the situation is, as I said, day by day. So we react quickly, and yesterday, for example, we agreed to have 2 or 3 companies that are stopping the production, not closing the factory, and then making a reassessment within 3 days what is happening. And this also sometimes coordinated with competitors that is in the same area. And we always reassess the situation. Some think it could last 1 week or 10 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but we do really daily an assessment of the situation, and if necessary, of course, we are stopping parts of the production or the production. But let's be reminded, there is a reason why governments like Switzerland, even Italy or others, said the production is not obliged to close, because they want to give a perspective to the people that this is only a temporary situation, that still their jobs are safe and they can go back to the production. So psychologically, it's closing for the safety of the people, yes, stopping certain parts, but having the will, even that's associated also with sometimes more cost, to let a factory open with some logistics or some parts that work. That is what we try to do. This balance we try to find. And this is a job we have to do day by day. By the way, we coordinate this also with UNIA, that is cooperating quite well with us in this situation. Then I have Jon Mettler from Tamedia. How does the pandemic affect the sales since the end of January 2020? Many thanks and stay healthy, Jon Mettler. Jon, I wish you the same. Stay healthy also, so that you can write many good articles in the future again. Yes, of course it's affecting the sales very strongly, like sales of every product, not just watches, I think fashion items, electronic items, cars. I'm not talking even about airlines. So everybody is affected. Perhaps the food section is not affected by this worldwide, and probably the pharmaceutical products. But of course, the sales are affected. But again, we talk about now 2 months, means February and March is not finished. And of course, the sales in these 2 months are strongly affected. As I said, in January was good. Now, let's see what April, May is bringing. Let's not forget the year has 12 months, and we are talking about 2 months that are really exceptional. And I'm sure the rebound with everybody will be even more consumption after a certain time, because you get relieved. You know, I'm a consumer also, and I'm also, of course, not motivated and fully, full of energy. I say tomorrow I go shopping, etc. You know, in the past, sometimes I really like to go and shop and do things. And now today, of course, the preoccupation is something else. It's somewhere else to keep the people safe, to be calm. There are other priorities. But these priorities will change. You want to do yourself and to all your people good things once the crisis is over. We have seen this so many times. There is a rebound. When it will happen, how quick, we don't know, but it will happen. This you can be sure. Okay. We get too many papers, that's why we need some time. Alors, Mathieu de Dardel. Bonjour. Dans la situation actuelle en Suisse, due au coronavirus et avec la recommandation du Conseil fédéral de rester à la maison et d'y travailler, quelles sont les mesures mises en place par le Swatch Group pour ses employés suisses et notamment à Bienne? Ben, écoutez, c'est simple. On a mis en place des priorités. Qui veut travailler dans le home office, qui peut travailler dans le home office, qui veut peut-être venir quand même pour maintenir une certaine présence. On a toutes les mesures de sécurité en place au niveau de la désinfection, par exemple. J'ai une petite bouteille ici, de la distance du poste de travail, des transports. S'il y a des gens qui, bien sûr, ils ne veulent pas prendre les transports en commun, alors ils ne doivent pas venir, ils peuvent faire le home office. Bien sûr, pour tout le monde, c'est le même challenge. On espère toujours que Swisscom peut tenir la puissance, parce que les gens ont la volonté de travailler. Mais ça, c'est comment on s'est organisé aussi à Bienne. Et on essaie de trouver une bonne balance, parce qu'on doit quand même livrer certaines choses, on doit préparer certaines choses, de trouver un bon équilibre entre les gens qui viennent et les gens qui partent. C'est ça qu'on fait, pragmatique avec les chefs des entreprises, qui doivent aussi sentir un peu la situation. C'est comme ça qu'on gère la situation. Mais encore, au jour le jour, peut-être demain, il y a une nouvelle régulation ou quelque chose d'autre qui va arriver et puis on doit changer notre approche. Et puis, was ist noch? Sie das haben? Wartet Sie. Ja, das war China. Das mache ich China. Christina Rocca, Wall Street Journal, Dow Jones Newswire. Hello and thanks for taking my questions. Can you give us an idea of how sales have evolved in 2020 so far? How much did sales fall during February? You mean in general? I just told you a lot, like everybody else. You know, if shops are closed in a country, it's difficult to sell. The only way to sell is e-commerce, which I agree, e-commerce in these countries works better, but nevertheless, you come not to the levels that normally you could compensate what you are losing when you don't have your stores. You said China trends are improving now. Are sales in your own stores fully back up to normal levels there, or not yet back to normal, but improving? What about orders from retailers in the country? Look, this is a process. This country had 1 month of, a little bit more than 1 month, 5 weeks of closed shops, closed, finished, down, everywhere. Own stores from retailers. And now there are about 10 days since they are open, 10, 14 days. And of course, everything comes online. Now everything is open, nearly everything from our brands, but also third-party retailers. Of course, they still have stock. They first sell their stock. We see the sell-through numbers. It comes slowly online, but it will not be back within 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Markets where people live and are consumers and have emotions and have brains is not like a stock market. The stock market is down 10% 1 day and the next day up 20%. That's not the reality of life. This is a crazy environment. So don't take a stock market philosophy and brain as the one that consumers would have in countries. So here it will take more time. The trend is very good. Shops are open, the people are coming, and they start to consume. And we think it will be back to more normal levels probably the next months when you take the whole months in consideration if nothing is happening. That's the way it works in the real world. And then, what else we have? Oh, we have a question about Veko. Zurab Sashashvili. I hope I formulated well your name. What is the current situation in terms of ETA movement regulations from Veko? No idea, you have to ask Veko. I don't know what all the professors are doing now in this situation. They are probably continue to study at home, and there should not be a delay to decide what they do. They had a delay already, but now for them it's perfect. Home office for a professor can only be enriching and bringing quicker decisions. That's what I hope, at least. That's all I can say about the WECO. Wenn Sie das noch? Dann haben wir noch Alexander Linz. Watch Advisor. Werden alle Neuheiten 2020 noch heuer vorgestellt oder verschieben Sie diese in 2021? Wann wollen Sie 2021 diese vorstellen? Und wann 2022, 23, 24, 25? Nein, das hat er nicht gesagt. Er ist nur bis 2021 gegangen. Adaptieren Sie Ihr Time to Move zum neuen Termin der Basel World im Januar. Herr Linz, Sie leben immer noch in alten Zeiten von Uhrenmessen. Diese Zeiten sind vorbei. Wir orientieren uns an den Konsumenten. Wir orientieren uns an den Gegebenheiten. Wo passiert was und wann ist es am besten? Wir sind nahe beim Konsumenten und wir gehen noch näher zum Konsumenten. Und der Konsument will noch näher kommen zu uns. Natürlich heute nicht, wegen dem Coronavirus. Das bleiben wir alle in Distanz. Aber das sind die Dinge, die in der Zukunft passieren. Wir sind in den Märkten und wir zeigen die Produkte dort und vor allem wir zeigen sie zuerst und oft auch den Konsumenten. Und nicht nur den Retailern oder den Journalisten. Und das ist die neue Welt. Also wir orientieren uns an überhaupt keiner Messe und wenn wir Neuheiten haben, und die haben wir dauernd, erwarten wir nicht bis zu einem bestimmten Zeitpunkt, sondern wenn wir eine Neuheit haben, dann wird diese Neuheit präsentiert und intelligent lanciert. Und zwar ist jede Marke hier total unabhängig. Und das ist das, was wir vorhaben im 20 und im 21 und im 22. Okay, jetzt habe ich vielleicht so viel Papier, dass ich nicht mehr weiß, was ich alles beantwortet habe und was nicht. Ja. Von Oliver Müller. Congratulations on the launch of the Tissot T-Touch Connect Solar. Fantastic product and finally an appropriate answer to the not so smart watches. When will the watch be delivered to the markets? Are you planning to deliver to chosen markets before the worldwide rollout? What are your expectations in terms for sales for 2020 and 2021? Okay, first, thank you very much for the compliments. The two gentlemen here, they are still in the room, a long distance away from me, but they are smiling, of course, to hear what you say. You know, we wanted to launch in June, July, in summertime in Switzerland as the first country, because it's a Swiss operating system, it's a Swiss-made watch, and we wanted to give Switzerland the priority. Now, of course, we don't know. It doesn't make sense to make this launch when the shops would be closed and when we cannot move. So it's still in the planning, but it's not sure at all. Huh? But the product would then be ready for a launch. But we will see how the situation is. Are you planning to deliver to chosen markets before the worldwide rollout? I just said we want to give Switzerland a priority, but there are many others knocking at the doors, and the American market, because of NBA cooperation, is of course there. And you want to say something, Sylvain?
No, I wanted to say something about the operating system, which will be, the watch, the Tissot T-Touch Connected, will be the first compatible with the Harmony operating system. So, of course, we developed this compatibility because China is an important market, and we hope, if everything goes back to normal life, that before the end of the year we will release a version compatible, the first compatible watch with Harmony phone operating system before the year end.
You mean for China?
For China.
Yes. Yeah, then we need to increase the production capacity a lot. We'll try to do that. But depends a little bit on the situation we have at the moment. And then what are your expectations in terms of sales for 2020 and 2021? Difficult to say, you know, this market is also touching a lot of new consumers that want a combination of a real analog watch together with a smartwatch. And I'm sure that it will be in line with what the T-Touch successfully sold, but I will not be able to give you now the numbers, what we plan to do, because the whole situation of 2020 is a little bit rocking us and shaking us, and we are saying, okay, what we're going to do here or there. But as I know François Thiebaud, as boss of Tissot, even if sometimes we tell him, don't give the numbers, he will give the numbers at one point of time, how many he has sold. So be patient, and then he will tell you. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have some more? Okay. We'll take two more only, because we said we don't want to be too long, even if the room is very big and we are not many people inside. We want to make not too long. Aline Bassine, Le Temps. Êtes-vous en dialogue avec le fonds Verazon qui est entré dans votre capital? Comment voyez-vous cette arrivée? Un article rayé leur vue, Nikayek fatigué. Que répondez-vous? Autre question. Pensez-vous que Baselworld pourra survivre à la crise du coronavirus? Alors d'abord pour Baselworld, écoutez, c'est pas à moi. Moi, je souhaite à tout le monde, et aussi à Baselworld, c'est une compagnie, c'est des gens qui ont un business à gérer. J'espère pour eux, bien sûr, qu'ils peuvent continuer à développer leur business. Mais Ça, comme toutes les entreprises en Suisse, que je souhaite ça. Et ça, c'est le joke de la journée, cette histoire du fonds Véraison. Ces gens-là, ils ont acheté peut-être pour 8 millions de francs suisses des actions et je ne sais pas ce qu'ils veulent avec ça. Ils veulent probablement se profiler comme des grands fonds, je ne sais pas ce qu'il y a. C'est des gens qui n'ont pas un dialogue avec nous. Vous savez, ils nous ont écrit une lettre au conseil d'administration pour dire qu'ils sont très fiers, la Swatch Group, c'est une compagnie fantastique, est-ce que le pirate, il est fatigué? Et moi, j'ai répondu, le pirate n'est pas fatigué du tout, le pirate est seulement fatigué de répondre à des questions de ces fonds et de ces gens qui vivent dans ce monde financier, d'investissement, de share buy programme et tout ça. Ça, je leur ai répondu que là, je suis fatigué vraiment, surtout avec des fonds. Mais ça, c'est un tout petit fonds, 8 millions de francs suisses, ils ont investi dans, je crois c'est 10% ou même pas d'une fois, d'une journée à la bourse de nos actions, M. Steiger. Okay. Ils ont probablement eu besoin de se faire parler dans leurs fonds. C'est des gens, je ne les connais pas du tout, je n'ai jamais vu, il n'y a pas eu de meeting, c'est des braves bonhommes, mais ils ont probablement voulu faire un peu de publicité pour eux-mêmes. Voilà. Andrea Martel von der NZZ. Guten Tag, Frau Martel. Guten Tag, Herr Hayek. Die Swatch-Aktie hat sich in den vergangenen Tagen gut gehalten. Ist Ihre Familie oder sind bestehende Aktionäre am Zukaufen? Planen Sie eventuell ein Going Private? Besten Dank, Andrea Martel. Aber wenn die NZZ der Familie Hayek morgen 13 Milliarden Schweizer Franken zu Nullzinsen über die nächsten 50 Jahre leiht, dann werden wir das Going Private machen. Aber was sonst ist, was mit der Swatch-Aktie ist, wissen Sie, warum die Aktien hochgehen oder runtergehen, es entzieht sich überhaupt jeder Ratio und Realität. Also müssen wir gar nicht versuchen, irgendwelche Dinge da hinein zu interpretieren. An einem Tag entwickelt sie sich gut, am anderen Tag entwickelt sie sich schlecht. Und ehrlich gesagt, ich habe noch nie verstanden, warum und auf was das basiert ist. Okay. Herzlichen Dank. Thank you very much that you have been here. I'm also talking to the 90 teddy bears that are here, by the way. And please take care, all of you at home or wherever you are looking at us. Let's not forget, it's temporary. It's a good means to be slowing down, think again about things, how you have done them. Perhaps they can be done in a different way in the future. And be nice to other people. Being nice to other people is a good thing to do. Thank you very much. Gentlemen here, bye-bye, and stay safe.